you to play for them. Quickly get you registered to play for them, kit.
I'm a Middlesex
Quickly
man,
get you
mate.
registered, get you kit.
I'm a Middlesex man, mate. That's good fielding.
I didn't say you were going to play well
That's
for them.
good fielding.
I didn't say you were going to play well for them.
Well,
Double agent. Double agent. Oh, that's one of those that's just hit you in the wrong part of the hand. That's just hit you in the wrong part of the hand and feels like someone's put 240 volts through your fingers for the next couple of minutes.
Tell you what, the worst is when it hits you on the wrist and you can. Tell you what, the worst is when it hits you on the wrist and you completely kills it. Absolutely kills. Again, that's just going to be a single. Again, that's just going to be a single by Mitchell. Decent start with the ball by Mitchell. 7 done. 7 done. Moves up to 45 for 3. Moves up to 45 for 3.
6 off that over. 9 off the previous. This is really tidy stuff. So 45 after 7. This is exactly the kind of start that Middlesex would have been wanting. Less than 6.5 when you take into account that the majority of those have been in the power play on a ground that is very quick scoring. The wicket today compared to the Gloucestershire game is more in the centre of the square, so the leg side boundary, as we're about to start this new over, isn't quite as short as what it was previously.
Pick up from Lloyd. Has he picked the man out? No. Oh, he's been done there. The fielder on the boundary, done by the spin. Who was it? I think it's Cracknell out there. Can't quite make out from here.
I think I saw an 8. Is either Cracknell or Gubbins? It's Gubbins.
He's an all-rounder now, Nick Gubbins. 4 overs, 1 for 22 against Surrey. Where'd that come from? Again, a miss hit, which bounces in between the infield and the man on the boundary.
Well, it's one of those that you're almost tempted to say, if you're playing, say, a club game over the weekend, lads, just go 5 deeper, because it's just going to plop into you. But of course, when you've got a fielding ring that you've got to have people inside, it seems to land just over you all the time.
Ooh, good power, just a bit of a flick of the wrist from Cook. Again, Finn gets down well. Quite an interesting stance, the Glamorgan captain. He's very open, but he does move his left foot just at the last minute, and there's a bit more regulation as he strikes the ball.
It's almost a way of getting momentum into the ball, isn't it? Because you've got to move your front foot to actually get yourself there.
There you go, check it out. There you go. Just a little movement with his left leg. Good bit of pace from Finn. Wraps the gloves.
I mean, it's not quite Dom Sibley territory, or for those who are slightly older of a vintage, Kim Barnett maybe, but...
Do you know what? I played against Kim Barnett once, and I couldn't believe how bizarre it was. He was almost like facing square leg. Standing at square leg, he was facing you, and then he just moved around and faced the bowler as he was coming in. It's going to be a wide, I think.
Yeah, growing up in the East Midlands, I had a few days at the racecourse ground. 1, freezing, but B, watching cricket, and so saw a bit of Kim Barnett live, and it takes some getting used to. I always feel for the bowlers, because you're running in to bowl. You've almost got to take him out of the equation and where he is, because it doesn't look right, but you know he's not going to be like that for the whole shot.
You contrast that with the way that Lloyd sets up. He's pretty still, actually, when the bowler comes in. If anything, he almost takes a very slight step back to sort of open up and give him the opportunity to hit through the offside. Have a look at Lloyd here. Pretty still. I moved across there. Catch! What a catch by the Middlesex captain! 6'7", gets down to the grass and makes it look easy.
The third one's the charm. He's stopped 2 brilliantly in his follow-through. The third one's a caught and bowl. You can't say Glamorgan weren't warned, because he's done it a couple of times already. Now the opportunity comes And that is a fabulous, fabulous grab for the man getting down to take the court and bowled. 50 on the board, but for the loss of 4.
Let's have a look at the replay. Look at this, great angle. Oh, what a catch. That is probably one of the best catches Stephen Finn has taken in his career. Great camera work as well by Jake. He told me to say that. Stephen Finn is going to be talking about that catch for the rest of the evening, I guarantee you. New batsman is Callum Taylor. Glamorgan are in trouble here. 23-year-old scored an 88-ball century on his first-class debut against Northants. Only played 2 games so far this season. He's batted down the order generally. And overall, just 13 games, strike rate 87. So not quite got going in this format yet. Mitchell continues. Could be 2, just the 1 to Majid.
Very still at the crease, wasn't he? There was almost no foot movement at all. That was played almost like a hockey shot, just total hand-eye coordination. Brave.
So what does Glamorgan do here then? Need to rebuild, but they can't afford 3 or 4 overs, not scoring too many. Taylor's first ball does well, gets off the mark. Middlesex really holding all the cards from here. This has been a high scoring ground. 215 chased down by Middlesex against Hampshire in the first game here. And then in the thriller against Gloucestershire, which Middlesex lost, the home side made 179. Gloucestershire just getting there by 2 runs, according to Duckworth Lewis. So that game, the side scored about 9 and over. Again, tip and run. Oh, he's done the fielder there as well. It seems quite slippy out there. That was Max Holden, was it?
It was. And that's the sort of thing that gets umpires nervous, because we have got a little bit of drizzle in the air again. And that is the sort of thing that will just get them twitchy to say, because it's all about danger, isn't it? The first question might be to the fielder, actually, you have got spikes on, haven't you?
Oh, he's bowled him! Nipped that through the gate. And that's another big wicket for Middlesex. The captain, Chris Cook, is gone. Glamorgan now in deep, deep trouble.
Absolutely, that's a beauty from Mitchell. Cook goes, and 5 down. Well, this is perfect stuff. This is perfect stuff, because of course if we get a rain-affected game and DLS gets involved, this really does help Middlesex out in a massive, massive way. So Cook goes, he made 10, 54 for 5 in the 9th. He looks back as if to say, well, what happened there? Middle stump is lying at 45 degrees and I'm working it to leg.
Good bit of bowling though by Mitchell, generally swings it away. That one definitely nipped in. He's already proving to be a canny signing. Darryl Mitchell. Good bit of bowling though by Mitchell, generally swings it away. 3rd game. That one definitely nipped in. 50 already. He's already.
So what's interesting, we mentioned earlier how much spin Middlesex have got in the line-up.
Darryl Mitchell. Good bit of bowling though by Mitchell, generally swings it away. 3rd game. That one definitely nipped in. 50 already. He's already.
So what's interesting, we mentioned earlier how much spin Middlesex have got in the line-up.
Darryl Mitchell. Good bit of bowling though by Mitchell, generally swings it away. 3rd game. That one definitely nipped in. 50 already. He's already.
So what's interesting, we mentioned earlier how much spin Middlesex have got in the line-up.
Darryl Mitchell. Good bit of bowling though by Mitchell, generally swings it away. 3rd game. That one definitely nipped in. 50 already.
He's off the mark then.
He's already.
So what's interesting, we mentioned earlier how much spin Middlesex have got in the line-up.
Generally swings it away. 3rd game. That one definitely nipped in. 50 already.
He's
already.
So what's interesting, we mentioned earlier how much spin Middlesex side off it.
Generally swings it away. 3rd game. That one definitely nipped in. 50 already. He's already.
So what's interesting, we mentioned earlier how much
Just pretty much bowling first class legs, really. Situation very much in his favour. Really good from the New Zealander. 55 of 9 overs. First class legs. The more situation very much in his favour. Well, really good from the New Zealander. We are going to see 5 of 9 overs. Souter to the attack. Middlesex more situations today. Souter the most experienced, the New Zealander. Holman. We are going to see 5 of 9 overs. Souter into the attack. Leg spinners. Middlesex is now on today. Souter the most experienced. Sorry, 120. Holman. We are going to see Souter was also actually up that game. 3 overs, 216 leg spinners. Feel like he may should have bowled 4 overs. Souter, Holman, over went for review. We are going to see turn game back to Souter's favour. 3 overs, 216 leg spinners. Feel like he may should have bowled 4 overs. Souter, Holman, over went for review. We are going to see turn game back to Souter's favour. 3 overs, Australia, 16 leg spinners. Feel like he may should have bowled. Commandeered him over onto our side. Oh, that is a Jaffa. That is turned. Taylor trying to work to leg. Oh, that is a Jaffa. Turned so much, really. That is turned. And a bit of bounce too. Taylor trying to work to leg. Oh, that is a Jaffa. Turned so much, really. That is turned. And a bit of bounce too. Taylor trying to work to leg. Oh, that is a Jaffa. Oh, that one almost beats him on the inside edge. A bit of bowling by Shouter.
Perfect touch, sticking the goal. Just given him the big leg break before, and he's beaten him all ends up. So you're sticking the Google, just given him the big leg break before. Yes, and he's beaten him all ends up. Under edge, side edge, just given him the big leg break before. Trickles out on the leg side. So that is the halfway. Under edge, side edge, 64 for 5. Trickles out on the leg side. So that is the halfway. Under edge, side edge, winning the top 4 for 5. Trickles out on the leg side. So that is the halfway. James winning for help, 2 for Finn, 1 for Mitchell. So that is the halfway. James winning for help, 2 for Finn, 1 for Mitchell. So that is the halfway. James winning for help, 2 for Finn, 1 for Mitchell. So that is the halfway. James winning for help, 2 for Finn, 1 for Mitchell. Just a little bit too leg side-ish. On occasion, Callum Taylor able to flip it to long leg for a single. This is exactly what the doctor ordered as far as Middlesex bowling was concerned. You look at the economy rates today, exactly what the G's were going at under 6, held 6, was Finn 7, the economy rates Mitchell 5.5, Souter 1 overs gone to 9. Coming into this game was only covered at the economy rate of 5.5 under 8.
guess it's the thing for Mitchell, that red ball style of bowling. If you can bowl 6 balls in a row in the same spot in red ball cricket, that's perfect. That's what you're after. That's not what you want in T20 cricket. So sometimes if the batsman's seen a couple, they can think, okay, I pretty much know where this is going to be, and then you can set yourself for the big shot. Souter to continue. I think it's fair to say he didn't pick that one.
Second time that Souter's just trying to slip in the slider, get it through the defences of Callum Taylor. Another thick inside edge.
Again, that's drifting in. It's a beautiful length in the fact that it's almost landing on the popping crease. Can't do anything with that at all.
It's almost like an in-swinging Wakar Yunis Yorker, that from a spinner. That is one of his go-to deliveries. It's a lovely bit of in-drift.
It's a bit more regulation, but again, there's no timing in that whatsoever, is there, from Taylor? And this is where Middlesex, they have to almost be prepared to put some more bait in the water here. Can they build on his frustrations and get him to do something reckless or silly? Can they get another maybe dot ball or 2 into him? Or just bowl him?
Yeah, simple game really, isn't it? Just bowl it straight, hit the stumps. You felt that was coming, didn't you, from Nathan Souter? He was all over Callum Taylor there. He was trying, the Glamorgan young man, but he just couldn't get his timing right. And Souter eventually got his man. One of his real strengths, the experienced Middlesex leg spinner, as he attacks the stumps. And that was seen there. 76 for 6. Glamorgan now. I would think the top priority at this point is just to bat out the overs. Try not to lose another wicket for the next few overs, and then maybe Doothwaite and Tail can have a dip towards the end, but it's really an awful situation to be in. James Whale coming to the crease, signed this season, ex-Durham player, more of a bowling all-rounder you would say. Did better 5 actually against Gloucestershire in the last game. Must have been sent in as a pinch hitter, I guess. Gloucestershire scored over 200 in that game, so maybe Glamorgan felt they had to get ahead of the rate early on.
Yeah, 40 runs this season. It's an average of 13.3 in this competition. Left-hander, so Souter's just getting the field exactly where he wants. Long on, mid-wicket, square leg, all out on the boundary leg side. There goes Souter. No problem with that. And one more to finish off a very tidy over. Does Whale want to take on the leg side boundary and hit with the spin? Will Souter give him the opportunity to hit with the spin? Well, again, it's inner half of the bat, no real timing, but no real damage done from Middlesex point of view. It's a single to end the over. It's another one in the book. That is 12 gone. 77 for 6.
They just haven't got going so far, Glamorgan. Just run you through the scorecard. Colin Ingram, the first man to go for a duck, caught Simpson, bowled Majib. Kieran Carlson, the other opener, made 10, caught Finn, bowled Helm. 35 for 3 when Billy Root went for a duck, nicking off to Stevie Eskenazi at slip. Finn, the bowler there. Finn then took a brilliant caught and bowled to get David Lloyd, who's the only batsman to spend any time at the crease so far. 29 of 25 balls for him. Then it was 54 for 5. Chris Cook, the captain, bowled by Daryl Mitchell for 10. And then Callum Taylor, 6 off 12 balls. Bit of a struggle for him. He was bowled by Souter to make it 76 for 6.
And Majib is going to bowl out. He's bowled 3 so far. That one hurries on in. Turned away by Whale for a single. General shuffling of the field for Dewthwaite. There's a flick on that. That's coming down towards us. And into the tent.
Good cameo from Head of Communications, Steve Fletcher. Definitely want to sanitise that ball after he's touched it.
Yes, I noticed. That was given a disdainful kick by Souter, wasn't it? I mean, he has to kick it, but he doesn't have to do it quite so disdainfully.
Looked like the leggy, didn't it, from Mujib. He bowls a lot of googlies, actually, more than leggies. That might have been a googly.
That looked leggy-ish. Outside half of the bat coming forward. Pushed into the offside, no run.
He often flicks it out the front of the hand almost, and it turns away from the right-hander, almost like a carom ball.
Straight. He'll do the fielding himself and do it well. 1 for 22. And 14 of those are coming 3 shots. Nothing on that one though.
This is where, as a bowler, right at the end of your spell, you're thinking, come on, just close it out. Don't need a boundary here. Getting out the back of the hand, wasn't it?
Again, just drifted leg side-ish, but it's bowling to your field. Helm's there, it's just a single. That's a cracking spell of bowling. It really is. He's done a great job for the team. He's got his 4 overs through. And 83 for 6. 1 for 23. So 24 balls, 23 runs.
Brilliant from your overseas mystery spinner, that is. But that's what you come to expect from Mujib. He's got an excellent record in T20 in general. Economy rate over his career is just 6.7. Incredible, really, for a bowler who bowls in the power play. And now the skipper's back.
In he comes. Good start to the over. And the Glamorgan run rate is dropping in. We mentioned earlier they're at sort of 6.5. It's now below 6.4. So at the time they would want to be accelerating. The wickets mean that actually it's decelerating. Well, as I was saying.
Yeah, Dewthwaite had enough, I think, of just blocking. He realises that you can only really take stock in T20 for a few balls. You can't afford to take your foot off the gas for too long. But that's the situation that Glamorgan is in at the moment. It's such a tough one for these batsmen to try and gauge the pace at which they should go about things. Is that the first signs, though, of Dewthwaite saying, right, I'm pressing the accelerator now?
What's Finn got to come back with? That's decent. Doesn't get any love from Tom Lungley, the umpire.
Too high. He's a tall man, Finn. So's Dewthwaite. Hit him above the knee roll. Bowling well though, Finn, isn't he? Couple of wickets already. Brilliant caught and bowled.
Flicked into the leg side, but again, should only be one unless there's a misfield. And indeed, Nick Gubbins does the job cleanly enough, so it's just one more and ticks along. Shows how the game's changed, that as the bowler and indeed as captain, you're never happy going for boundaries. But actually, they've been so infrequent, you think to yourself, okay, get that one out of my mind. I'm going to get back on my line, back on my length. One boundary's not going to be terminal for us. Again, that's just going to be turned into the leg side for one.
Interesting. Finn had mid-on and mid-off up there to Whale. 3 men out on the leg side boundary. So the plan clearly to him is, or should be anyway, not to pitch anything up to him so he can hit you over the top. Whereas to Doothwaite, they've sent both mid-on and mid-off back because he seems to be strong in that area.
Finn isn't going to allow him to free his arms too much. And it's a single to finish with. See, Finn's actually a bit frustrated, I think, that he's given away a single there, but it is certainly not the end of the world. 14 have gone, and only 90 are on the board. 6 wickets are down, so 7 from the over. We're about to start number 15, so 6 overs to go. The innings, they're going at, as I just mentioned, it's under 6.5. So we're talking about 36, let's call it 50 at this rate. Well, that's 140. That shouldn't be enough on here today, you would have thought. So something special's got to happen here for Middlesex to leave this field thinking something's gone wrong.
South just had a change of ends. Coming in from the Salters field end now.
Low full toss to start with, which is often not a bad delivery. It's hard to hit, and timing it isn't the easiest. And they frequently take wickets, don't they, low full tosses?
Especially for the paceman. Caught out in the deep or something like that. So what South are going to do here, bowling at the left-handed Whale, that's the shorter boundary over on that side. Is he going to just bowl sliders across him? Try not to give him the opportunity to hit with the spin too much to that short side.
Well, there's only one sweeper out on the offside, so it implies he's going to be relatively straight. But that's straight to Majib. The protection is all on that leg side. Now, as you say, you could just go straight across him and take the leg side out of the equation.
There you go, hung it outside off stump. That really drifted. Well taken by Simpson as well.
I think that might be the sighter for the umpire to sort of establish the line. Again, just good cricket, this, isn't it? There's nothing hittable in terms of dangerous stuff. And it's just keep it ticking over. Get Whale to get frustrated. Oh, that's a little bit of air. That's a problem. And that's going to be a problem for someone in the car park. That was just, unfortunately, in baseball terms, a belt-high breaking ball that stood there and said, please hit me.
And in cricket terms, probably a pie, you'd call it, which was consumed with delight by James Whale. One of the few genuinely bad balls we've seen bowled today. And that went a long way as well. I think it might take a while to get that ball back. It's gone into the car park.
Tom Lungley's actually decided he's gone straight to the box of balls just next to us at the over the boundary behind the stumps. He's come trotting down and just said, well, we'll just go and get a new one to start with. Which might disappoint Middlesex, because they were probably quite happy with the way that one was going, until that delivery anyway.
Yeah, biggest hit we've seen today by far, I think.
Wales on off stump there. A play and a miss. Souter wanted something, but didn't get it. So, end of 15, 97 for 6. So the final 5 overs, 30 balls of the innings to go, assuming that they're all sent down. And they're still only in double figures, not reached the 3 digits yet.
We've only seen 5 bowlers so far today. We saw 7 against Surrey for Middlesex, and we may only see 5 today. Luke Holman hasn't been used yet. We may just stick with Souter. He's got 1 more over, and then the rest could be seen. Mitchell's got 1, Finn's got 1, Helm's got 2, and Helm's going to bowl one of his remaining 2 now from the pavilion end.
There's almost a sense, as we said earlier, don't complicate it unless you have to. The guys have all done a job, let them finish it off. So here goes Helm. Just going to be worked into the leg side for a single. There's going to be a time that some of those singles has to be pushed and at least ask the question and put some pressure on the field. Can you turn it into 2? And as it is, it's not yet, and it's now 98 on the board.
So Macca, I'm going to put you in the Glamorgan dressing room. What would you take from here? Just under 5 overs to go.
Oh dear. You've got to be thinking 130, 140, haven't you? Somehow, but you might take a little less. 130, 140. Well, that will help
somehow, but
you might. That's a belter.
Might take a little
mid on
less.
and mid off on the edge of the circle.
130, 140.
That will help. Climb over the hoardings. Reach over and gather it.
Stand and deliver from James Whale there. Just hit that straight as an arrow, didn't he? In fact, it almost went into that pile of sawdust, which would have slowed it down. Still think it would have gone to the boundary, though.
100 up. 102 for 6. Thanks to that.
Goes pace off to counter Helm. He'll be disappointed with the way that he bowled against Surrey, not just at the end when he went for 19 in that 19th over, but at the beginning as well when he was hit for a couple of big 6s by the hard-hitting Will Jacks. I think he just bowled a bit too full, perhaps. Just gave the batsman length, which they tucked into.
It's hard to find a spot to bowl to Will Jacks, isn't it? You have to be absolutely on the money. That's it. And that is hit very, very hard. Someone's on a recovery mission for that, if they can stop it.
Made a good sound off the bat, that did. Really nice crack. This is the best over for Glamorgan in some time. 2 boundaries now from Whale. Exactly what they need to get going. Helm again, bowling length. Wonder if he's going to bang this one in. He's got lots of cover on the leg side. 4 men out on the leg side boundary.
It is short. Daryl Mitchell down in front of us at long on was very happy with that.
Well, that's what his field is set for. There's no one on the single on the leg side. He's got a long on, a cow corner, a deep square leg and a fine leg on the boundary. It is set for short bowling this on the long side.
Daryl Mitchell has just posed the question to the dressing room because I've just been watching his body language. He's asking, far end, should it be seam next over or should it be leg spin for the left-hander? We'll find out shortly. Back of the hand from Helm, and that will finish that over very nicely indeed. So 106 after 16, 9 off the over. A little bit of momentum, so we'll get the decision. 12th men are running out with a helmet, which would imply that it's for the wicketkeeper John Simpson, and therefore it is going to be the spin option.
So this will probably be the last over of spin that we see from Middlesex today. Glamorgan do have 4 wickets in hand. So is this where they really press the go button? Running out of time here, 24 balls. Is it the spinner they need to target? Doothwaite's in now, he's got 24.
Let's be honest, everyone's got to go now. And there you go. He's given it a mighty clatter. Was actually pulling it towards mid-wicket, or appeared to, and has hit it straight. And I'll take a couple for that.
Well fielded, Stevie Eskenazi. He's had a good day in the field. Nice catch at first slip as well. Bit of a hack from Doothwaite. Didn't quite get that, but he hit it straight, which meant he almost got the boundary.
I don't think there's going to be much air here from Somerset. Doothwaite gives it a hit down towards long on. But again, bowl to your fields, and it's just a single. Interesting to see. Do they want to try and tempt the batsman? If it was 4-day cricket, you would. But of course, white ball cricket T20, just keep them to as few as possible. Left-hander on strike with the short one. Almost a return catch. Oh, that's ridiculous.
I can't believe that has gone for 4.
That's caught and bowled 4.
Wow, that is a good bat James Wales got, and he's got some power, let me tell you. That was a leading edge, really. Just flew off the bat past Nathan Souter, who almost caught a sensational one-handed caught and bowled, and then it dissected both long on and long off. Wow.
Souter's got hoiked into the leg side on this occasion. Mitchell will return it with 2 more taken.
I think Wales got to do that here. I think he's got to target that short boundary, get across his stumps and just heave to the leg side. He won't need to get all of it to get it over the boundary rope.
Like we've said, it's what have you got to lose territory now, isn't it? 115 on the board. That's a beauty. Well, Nick Cook's going, what are you appealing for? That's a beauty.
Well, Simpson and Souter are absolutely convinced he's hit that. Must say, I thought I heard a noise, even from our position down here at pretty much behind the keeper. It did sound feel like there was a bit of a noise, maybe an under edge.
Was it bat on pad on the way through? Anyway, Nick Cook wasn't having any of it, and as a result, lean back and larrup. That was very well hit, over cover, and surprise, surprise, the bowler's got a double teapot on, saying, well, thank you very much, you should have been walking back to the pavilion, and you're not. It's the end of the over. It is 119 for 6.
Could be quite an important moment, that. A really good partnership, this, for Glamorgan. It's up to 43. The highest partnership by a distance in this Glamorgan innings. 3 overs to go now, and they've now got a realistic chance of getting up to about 150. If they get 10 and over from here, that'll be 149. And that would give them something to bowl at, that's for sure. They've batted sensibly, these two. Just hit the bad balls when it's come along without going too hell for leather and losing a wicket.
The skipper then. Oh my goodness, that has gone and gone and gone.
Bosh! Stand and deliver again, this time from Doothwaite. He's got some power too. That was in the slot though from Stephen Finn. Doothwaite just swung through the line.
First ball of the over. It's really what you try and avoid, because it sets the batsman up. He feels like, well, I've got 6, so I've now got a bit of licence for the rest of this. Can I make this the big one? Well, that's carved away. And that's now 10 in 2. This is the over Glamorgan were desperately needing.
Yeah, well, still 4 balls to go, and they've taken 10 off the first 2 deliveries. All of a sudden, just a slight shift in momentum in this innings, with Glamorgan having higher aspirations now. Who knows? 160 could be within reach, and that really would send them into the chase on a high. It's looking a long way off, wasn't it, at 76 for 6. These two have put on 53 now.
It didn't seem likely, possible. Fair play to Glamorgan. Oh, Stephen Finn has pulled the pin out on that one, hasn't he? That's a real great, slower, floaty one, but perfectly landed. Very easy to get that wrong. And yeah, sorry lads, I'll go back to the end of my mark for that, but that was perfect.
Yeah, when Finney bowls a slower ball, he really does take the pace off, doesn't he? There isn't a subtle change of pace, it's a genuine slower ball.
That one wasn't.
Oh wow. I have some of that.
That was quick out of the hand and quicker off the bat.
It's like Viv Richards, that was. My God, quick hands from Doothwaite. And he has absolutely whacked that out the ground, over the trees. Forget that. The umpire's going to get another spare ball. They're not even going to look for that one.
Well, the only good news for that is I didn't hear it crash when it came down, because that was car park territory. Did you see the clip, by the way, doing the rounds on social media during the week of the guy playing, I forget which league it was, hits a 6 over mid-wicket, you hear a crashing sound, and he broke the window on his own car. I mean, what are the odds? He stood there, it was like hands on head, what have I done? As obviously everyone else in the ground just dissolved into laughter.
Yeah, I wonder how many times that's happened in history, both in club and professional cricket. Probably not many, as you say.
I mean, to break a window, yes, but to your own?
Is that good luck or bad luck?
Probably good luck for your insurance company. Well, Finn will be happy with that. There's just a single off that. Right, so can Whale follow up the left-hander? That's ours.
No, it's not. That is miles over our heads. He can follow up. Where'd that go? That go into hospitality? I think it might.
It went over hospitality and has landed just shy of the hedge that's at the back next to the portable toilets.
That's the Knight Frank hospitality tent. I think a couple of the estate agents thought they might have had a catch there, trying to get round the back. But that was hit really hard. So this innings has certainly changed a bit, hasn't it, in the last couple of overs? That over went for 23.
142 for 6 after 18. It was 119 after 17. Well, that was me saying 140. You'd be biting your hand off after 20. That's a massive over. Both in terms of what it had achieved, but also the statement it makes.
Ruined Steve Finn's figures as well. 4 overs, no maidens, 2 for 44. So certainly now 160 plus within reach.
Well, Helm has got an important job here. Well bowled. Well bowled. Completely disguised slower ball. And Doothwaite not able to do anything with that.
Got to give credit to the 2 Glamorgan batsmen here. Such a difficult situation to come in. 76 for 6. 11.4 overs when they came together. You don't know whether to stick or twist in that situation. So hard to get the tempo right, but they have got it spot on. Doothwaite leading the way, 44 not out off 28 now.
You'll add another 1 to that. Are they going to think of 2? No.
Wales certainly played his part. He's actually scored quicker than Doothwaite, 33 off 19. So he's striking at 173. Just shows you the value of having a deep batting lineup in T20. You're never out of the game if you've got guys at 7, 8, 9 who can strike a cricket ball. If they hadn't, this game could easily have almost been over at half time had they only got 120, say. 160 plus is a different ball game.
It's also a reminder to the bowling side, isn't it? You can't cruise it through. Yes, you might have got 5 or 6 early ones, but you never know when someone just has that cameo that changes a game. Here we go then for Whale. Oh my goodness, that's hit hard again, and he's found a gap. 4 to the total. It's like all of a sudden we're watching a different innings of a different game, isn't it? These two have just tucked in the way that no one else has really been able to. I mean, I know David Lloyd made 29 from 25, but he didn't play in this style.
He's had a couple of 4s aerial through the offside. James Whale clearly likes a bit of width.
Helm to follow it up then. Back of the hand. Oh dear.
It's another one out the ground, Macca. Get another new ball, please. They won't be getting that one back, I don't think. Slower ball from Helm, but it was right in the slot for Whale. 160, what are we talking about? 180?
We are absolutely throwing pieces of paper away with run calculations on at the moment because we're not doing them enough. This has been a fantastic back end for Glamorgan. Completely changing this game. Helm needs to come back. That's been picked up. Where's it? Fielded inside the circle. Well done, Gubbins. Gubbins and Majid were on duty. You can see Daryl Mitchell warming up in the background. So it looks like he's going to get, could well be the 19th. Sorry, the 20th.
Got to be Mitchell, really, hasn't it? I don't think they'll bring someone on to bowl their first over as the 20th. And Mitchell did bowl the final over of the game in the run chase against Essex. Perhaps not someone you'd expect to be a death bowler, but he picked up 3 wickets in that game. Almost won the game for Middlesex. 4 needed off the final ball, and Simon Harmer luckily edged one past short third man to get that boundary.
That's gone high. Who's underneath it? Unfortunately, not able to hang on.
I was just saying Eskenazi had a good day in the field, and that's kind of spoiled it for him. Did the hard work, had to backtrack quite a long way and quite quickly, which is hard to do, and then get his hands up. He got in position, but he just couldn't hold on. Hard hands, I think. The ball just bounced off his reverse cup. And again, that could be a costly miss for Middlesex as Mitchell gets ready to bowl this final over.
I mean, in fairness, that ball now is relatively grey. It's coming out of a grey sky. We're not looking for an excuse, but not the easiest. But you'd feel disappointed that it's not been taken. Well, the last 20 minutes, Stephen Finn has probably had more things going around his mind as a captain than he did for the first 45 minutes altogether. The pause, by the way, is for Doothwaite just getting a new piece of willow there. Clearly the one he's been using apparently hasn't been hitting them well enough. Can't wait to see how this one goes. His bat sponsor will be delighted.
Well, if he doesn't want the other one, I'll have it.
Do a Niroshan Dick Weller to Joe Root, go and say to him, have you got a spare?
I'm always doing that when I'm coming to games. Don't you worry about that. Tapping up the Middlesex boys. Anyone got a spare?
Will that carry? No. Oh, Steve Finn. Was that the opportunity to catch? Would it have carried all the way? Finn quickly elected there for the safety valve option of staying safe and back and making sure it didn't get past him rather than risk anything. Mitchell's just making sure that Finn at long on is right back on the rope, and he wants the cover fielder a bit straighter rather than squarer. Boothwaite's on 47. He'll stay on 47, but the total will go up by 1.
Marginal call that, I think. Mitchell thought he just got that inside the line. I think it was the right one, just a bit too wide. Almost went for the double bluff there because he's got no one on the third man boundary. So you get anything on that as a batsman, it's going to fly away for 4.
Where's he going here? That is very, very hard and hits the pavilion. That's all. That is baseball style home run hitting. That is quite a way to bring up 50.
Take a bow, young man. What an innings that is from Dan Doothwaite. He has rescued this Glamorgan innings when it was really in the doldrums, and he has given his side more than a fighting chance in a really important game for them and for Middlesex. Played really well initially, just knocked the ball around, was careful, got in, and then when he got to about 20 odd, he then went up 1 gear, 2 gears, 3 gears really quickly, and he's got some real power, hasn't he?
3 4s, 4 6s, a 30 ball 50. They're having to change the ball. I'm not sure if they weren't able to get it back, or maybe as it's clattered off the roof, maybe it's had a bit of a chunk taken out of it with the roof tile. But
mate, haven't they?
It was certainly hit, and well hit. Right, Mitchell knows he's in for a battle this over if he didn't before. That's tugged into the leg side and didn't get all of it. We said earlier about potentially those low full toss kind of balls, and Eskenazi will take the catch. It's a disappointing end for him on a personal level, but what a 7th wicket partnership that has been. Completely changed the game as far as Glamorgan are concerned. They came together in the 12th over. He leaves in the 20th. 164 for 7 is the score on the board, and Doothwaite goes for 53. Very well made runs.
The first time he has passed 50 in a T20 game. Big innings for him. And now we've got an important last 3 balls here. Could be the difference between winning it and losing it for either side.
That was again a slow full toss. Oh my. Well, Cracknell's going around there, but he can't get across, and Whale will get 4.
Didn't quite get it, Whale. Bit of a thick inside edge, but he perfectly bisected the 2 men on the boundary. Long on coming round and deep mid-wicket from the other side. So now 168. This is a decent score.
It would be a decent score if they'd been offered this at the first ball, but where they were 5 down, it's a fantastic response. That's hit very straight and hard. Cracknell picks it up cleanly. They're coming back for the second. Take them off? No. Not able to gather them in, and the 2 will be completed.
Good running that, and that is 50 for Whale as well. The first T20 50 for him too. So, two unlikely sources of runs, perhaps you would say, for Glamorgan today. But they've made a real statement going forward in this Glamorgan team. Get him up the order, maybe. Whale has been really good. He's been the aggressor at certain stages of the partnership. They just work together beautifully.
Well, Mitchell tests out the middle of the pitch. That's been hit to long on. Cracknell's underneath it. And that'll do it. Well, maybe the middle of the pitch option was an option that maybe should have been explored a little earlier on, but it's a nice tidy way for the innings to conclude from a Middlesex point of view with another wicket. 170 for 8 is what Glamorgan had posted. 76 for 6 they were halfway through the 12th over. 2 for 1, 22 for 2, 35 for 3, 50 for 4, 54 for 5, 76 for 6, ending up with 170 for 8. It's a very different conversation that Stuart Law and the coaches and Middlesex batsmen will now be having in the quick break. What could have been 130 suddenly become 171 to win this game. And let's not forget, for both of these sides, we are talking must-win game.
It's definitely a must-win for Middlesex, isn't it? Middlesex may need to win all 7 of their remaining games. You think at least 6 of those, so they really have to chase this down. And we've got a really interesting chase on our hands now as well, haven't we? If you look at the previous game, Middlesex against Gloucestershire, Middlesex made 179 for 5 from their 20 overs. Similar type conditions, overcast, and Gloucestershire just got over the line there with 2 overs to spare. It was reduced because of rain, so they got to their target, which was 157, reduced to by 2 runs. 170 now, so just under that from Glamorgan. But Middlesex, the pressure is on them, so they're going to go in there now thinking should really have been more like 130, 140 perhaps. It's Glamorgan who will go out there with their chests puffed out.
Absolutely. I mean, that really does change the way that you approach an innings, and also the way you walk off the pitch. How often do we see the last few overs of a first innings of a T20 game just change the confidence, the approach, even the body shape of the players? You just sense they stand a little taller when you finish well. Doothwaite and Whale will go back into the Glamorgan dressing room. It's going to be high fives all round. It's like, come on boys, we're in this, we've got a chance. It's just that change of confidence and momentum, isn't it?
Really impressed both with Whale and Doothwaite. That partnership worth 88 in 7.5 overs. So they scored at a good lick as well, and they paced their innings so well. They didn't go hell for leather initially. They just knocked the ball around, got themselves in, and then they really launched in the last 5 overs or so, and then you saw their power. So they could have easily gone out there and tried to go a bit too early. Had one of those two got out 20 runs or so into their partnership, this would have been a very different story.
It's that age-old thing that we have to remind ourselves in T20 cricket. You can have a little bit of a look. You don't have to panic. You don't have to thrash constantly. If it's not working and you are having to pick up, just have a look at a couple of balls, push them around, and then just wait. Because if you're not seeing it, you can't hit it. They played it so well. Push it around and then explode, then play the big shots. And that's the total that they're now chasing.
Got a game on now, haven't we? Which is interesting. Stick around, you won't want to go anywhere. Let's just remind you then, if you're just tuning in, Glamorgan at one point, having won the toss and batted, was 76 for 6. Middlesex were rampant all over them, but a fantastic partnership between Dan Doothwaite and James Whale, who both hit their maiden T20 half centuries. Doothwaite 53 off 31, Whale 51 off 25. They put on 88. That has hauled Glamorgan out of a big hole and got them up to 170 for 8 from their 20 overs. This is going to be not that simple, I think, for Middlesex to chase this down. There's a bit of rain in the air as well, so will that come into play? We'll find out in a few minutes' time with the run chase. We'll see you then.
Woodstock Cricket, home of the finest handmade cricket bats and soft goods. Visit either our showroom or workshop and experience the magic for yourselves. For bookings, contact info@woodstockcricket.co.uk.
Welcome back to Radlett. The Middlesex openers striding out to the middle to start a crucial run chase for both them and for Glamorgan to a lesser extent. Stevie Eskenazi and Joe Cracknell.
And that's it.
The
Aaron
two
Colley,
that will continue
none
to
for
open
14 off 1.
for the home side.
And in between that, pulled a
Stevie
couple of good
Eskenazi
balls. But
in
as I
excellent
said
form.
before, when Paul Sterling's on fire, he can
For
just
his
hit
first
balls from any
T20
length, from any
century.
width to any area of the ground.
2 games
He's
ago
just
against Essex at Lords,
as
102
we say
off
time and time
61
again.
balls. And followed that up with 64
class
against
players
Surrey
that we have in Ireland, and
Friday night
when
at
he's
the
on
Oval.
fire, there's no finer
And
sight.
Joe Cracknell's just been a revelation.
Well, he has
hasn't he?
statistics in white ball cricket
350s
that
already in his
compare with
short
the best.
10-game T20 career.
If you have a look at
He's been
them,
moved up to open the
Kevin
batting in the
Peterson's,
absence of Paul
Steve
Sterling.
Smith's, he's up there with the best of them,
It's gonna be
hundreds
the
and
left arm
50s,
spinner, Prem
averages, strike
Sisodia,
rates.
to open the bowling for
Yeah, and we
Glamorgan.
had a good look at them recently.
As he
We were
pretty much
tasked
always
with finding
does.
the player of the decade, and we looked at his records
It'll
extensively.
be interesting
and they
to
were
see
just
what happens
phenomenal.
here.
As Josh Manley comes in
These two have
from the
played
Mason Road
once
end.
already this season, and Glamorgan won that game.
Just had point interested there for a second as he slashed James McCullum,
Low-scoring
slashed
game
that one away
Cardiff.
wide, got a bit of
Relatively
width
low. Glamorgan made
through his
150.
hands.
Middlesex could
And
only
it's
make
just crept
129.
over
So what will
the
happen on this
leaping point
occasion?
for a boundary for.
171 the target.
It's a great start by the Knights.
I wondered how James McCullum
Starts
was
with
going to
wide,
respond to the
run
onslaught at the
away
other end. We've seen it
towards
right
the
now.
boundary.
Paul Sterling's one of those
Waits,
batsmen. He
comes round
seems
and
to
cuts it off,
galvanise the
so
team when he's on fire. It gives
batsman
everyone
come
else
back
that
for
extra
two.
5-10%.
No doubt about it.
Middlesex, I think Macca will still fancy their chances of chasing this down, given
He's
what
bowled
we've
well
seen
in this
the
tournament
first two games
so
here.
far, Josh Manley.
Absolutely.
A man
All
who
about the
seems
start.
to give everything, Peter.
Yeah, he's been very impressive. It's the first time I've seen him in the flesh.
Clip down the
And he
ground.
gets the ball in good areas. He gets good shape. Very consistent.
You mentioned the
And
form
he's
of
definitely one to keep an eye on.
Eskenazi. Well, they need
Of course,
someone at the top
plays
of the innings.
his club cricket with
to,
Lisburn.
play exactly that kind of innings, don't they? Middlesex.
Fired in by Sisodia,
Good piece of
who
bowling.
was very much a
Good
power
length, a
play
little
bowler
bit of
for
away
Glamorgan.
movement from Manley.
Someone who's come through the ranks.
Yeah, we've seen this pitch today in the
County.
previous games.
Local boy.
This weekend
Last year was a breakout
does
season
give
for him
value
with the
for
ball.
the
10
bowlers if they
wickets,
get it
an
in the
average of
right
23,
area.
economy
Breeze
rate
is
just 6.4.
slightly picked up.
There's a long way across there. Eskenazi's trying to beat the man at square leg because there's no one on the boundary behind square on the leg side for Sisodia. He's got a long on and a cow corner. So the sweep is very much an option.
Well, that was uppish, wasn't it, to start with? There were a few, I think, hearts in mouths. But as you mentioned, the two men inside the circle are at square leg and short fine leg. So actually, as long as you don't get it horribly, horribly wrong, that is perfectly safe.
See what he's trying to do, can't he? He's bowling it quite flat. I think he's primarily just trying to beat the batsman on the inside edge, attacking the stumps. Try and spin the odd one, toss it up.
And not let the batsman get off to a flyer.
See that one again, just fired in. Good start this by Sisodia. Good first over, especially if you take the wides out of it. 5 without loss, Middlesex. And it's going to be pace from the pavilion end in the shape of James Whale, who will be full of beans at the moment after that 25 ball 51, which turned the innings around for Glamorgan. Tall right arm seamer. Bowling is his primary role, really. Is expensive in this format though. His economy rate 9.3 over his career.
Only 1 wicket so far in the campaign as well. So it's no slip in place. Third man is in situ. And the other sweeper is out there at the leg side boundary. Just a single. I'm a little bit surprised that they haven't put a slip in, at least for the first couple of deliveries. Just see if there's anything there.
Yeah, especially given the conditions, it feels like a swinging day. Maybe a bit in the pitch. We saw Stephen Finn nick off Billy Root to slip. Banged in short, pulled away by Cracknell. That's one of his shots. He hasn't timed that perfectly, and that's enabled the man on the boundary to get around and cut it off. Good bit of fielding. The batsmen get back for 2.
Billy Root scampering so well there. To get round, I mean, he had to make up a lot of ground to start with, and then keep the ball out in front of him and get it back under control to get it back on the way in.
Fuller this time. Thick outside edge is not going to carry down to third man, though, who does well. Watches the ball. Doothwaite down there. Kept his eye on the ball, which would have been spinning. There can be nasty, those, if you're fielding down at third man.
Again, just the outside portion of the bat. Not an edge, but thick enough to take it down to third man. No flashing blades so far from Middlesex yet. All about setting up this chase.
Oh, he's got hold of that one. Eskenazi just picked it up. 1-2 bounces over the rope. First boundary of the innings, and it comes from the in-form man for Middlesex.
I'm talking them in at the moment, aren't I? Well, he's just waited and played that so quickly. It's almost like a sort of short arm punch. Quick hands. And that was away into the boundary in next to no time. That is a shot of a man who is seeing it very, very well.
Plays it well, doesn't he? Likes to pull almost off the front foot, Eskenazi. Perhaps not the most conventional way of pulling. If you watch Cracknell do it, he's very much weight going back, quick hands. More than one way to skin a cat, though. Short again. This time he goes up and over the offside. Good batting from Eskenazi. Too much width, though, from Whale.
That's a fantastic shot. Keep the hands high up and underneath it into the offside. Well, he's putting on a clinic at the moment. I mean, there's 2 shots of the highest quality. He must be seeing it like a watermelon at the moment. When you've made 100, followed it up with another 50... I can only dream what that's like. I've never actually achieved anything even remotely close to that. So,
the problem with watermelons, though, is when you hit them, they don't really go very far. Full this time. Nails his wide Yorker, but Eskenazi does well to get bat on that and get it out to the man at wide third man. So a strong over from a Middlesex point of view. It's 18 without loss after 2. Middlesex have got an extra batsman today, with Blake Cullen left out of the side. Max Holden brought in. Now Holden is used to batting up the order pretty much in whatever format he plays, so I wonder where he'll bat today. I think he'll slip down the order, actually. I think we might see Gubbins at 3, Mitchell at 4, and then he might come in at 5 or 6. Wide. Oh, I tell you what, that might run away to the boundary. Done well there, Cracknell. He gave himself some room. Sisodia actually bowled quite well. He saw him giving himself room and just hung that outside the off stump. Somehow, Cracknell managed to reach it and get enough bat on it to just beat Billy Root at cover.
And play it with a horizontal bat as well, too. So it's almost going across, hits the middle of it and flew through extra cover. I mean, the fielder can dive all he likes, but he's not stopping that. Or catching it, for that matter, either.
Just a small glimpse of the power. That was Eskenazi, not Cracknell. Pardon me. That he has. Is he going to try and get through the offside again? Oh, bit of turn for Sisodia. The first one we've seen that's bitten a little bit. We saw Mujib get a bit of turn in his first over with the new ball in the Glamorgan innings.
That will be a slight concern.
Full. Half volley, really, and that is put away by Eskenazi. Classical off drive.
Well, it's clearly not a concern to Eskenazi because he put it straight out of his mind, and that is a glorious, glorious cover drive. And thank you very much. We'll take 4.
genuine half volley, wasn't it, from the left arm spinner. Eskenazi accepted it with both hands. Again, we might have another short delay while they get the ball and desanitize it.
Well, they've already sent the umpire to get another one just in case.
Kind of lost that one, surely. That was a 4 all along the ground. I think it maybe ramped up one of those Middlesex cricket boards and then went into the bushes. I wonder if they lose a lot of balls here during club games. Probably do, you know. Got trees all around the ground. Got the rail tracks on the far side of the ground. Haven't had too many trains go by today, actually. Haven't noticed it as much.
No. Yeah, Sunday service might be doing a bit of work on the line, probably. Bus replacement.
Goes aerial this time, and effectively, really good batting this from Stevie Eskenazi in this over. He's targeting Prem Sisodia, and he's targeting the offside.
Well, Billy Root is the man at short extra cover and turned and looked at mid-off with hands in the air going, catch! And unfortunately for him, it wasn't. And Walker is on a retrieval job for that.
Man goes back now at long off. That's the response from Glamorgan. So one less man on the leg side boundary. Smart batting again from Eskenazi. Just takes the one on offer. So will they keep the man out a long off for Cracknell? They will, by the looks of things.
If they've got any sense, they will. If the scouting report... Well, having said that, they're just bringing him up. But that could be, of course, that the tempters say, well, we know you can hit it there. Do you fancy trying to take it on?
Goes down leg side and Cracknell gets a bit on that. I think that's come off the glove or bat. Doothwaite comes down. Throws it back in. Yeah, given as runs for Joe Cracknell. A couple of them. 33 without loss after 3.
To give you a comparison, Glamorgan were 19 for 1 after 3. Middlesex therefore need 138 more to win this game. 171 is their target in this must-win game. And Tim van der Houten is coming into the attack for his first over.
Dutch international, of course, Tim van der Houten. He's been around for quite a while as well. Stalwart of this Glamorgan side for a while. I was actually with some of the Dutch team out in Nepal about 6 weeks ago for a tri-series. Nepal, Netherlands and Malaysia. Spent a bit of time with the Netherlands players. And they were telling me the correct way to pronounce Tim's name is Tim van der Houten. Which I don't think I'm going to do because I think I'll make a fool out of myself.
It's all happening.
And it's brought Jeremy Lawler to the wicket. Didn't last long.
Well, here he is. Number 64 on his back.
Pulled away hard, but straight to the man on the leg side boundary. Either side of him, that would have been 4. Does play the pull shot really well, Eskenazi. Who are those chaps? Hello. Oh, it's the Knight Frank tent, I believe. Some of the children of some of the people who work at Knight Frank. Hello, guys. You can look away now.
Got a prize winner as well, first place.
They look thrilled to be here. Middlesex supporters, obviously. They had the Middlesex gear on.
That's those 3 children in about 15 years' time. In fairness, the beard might take a bit of work, but...
Pace off from van der Houten. Again, they've left that man out on the offside boundary. He's kind of a very wide third man. Quite well positioned for Eskenazi, who likes to score in that area just behind square on the offside.
I think this afternoon's quick train to King's Cross has just rattled its way past.
Yeah, as soon as I said that, there's been about 5 trains in 5 minutes. Pulled, he hasn't got that, which was lucky because it didn't carry all the way to Billy Root, who came around and did well, got the ball back in. Tim van der Houten went for 52 against Gloucestershire in Glamorgan's last game when they got spanked. Got done by Glenn Phillips. Brilliant innings from him. He got 94 not out in that game. Gloucestershire getting well over 200. It goes wide of the crease. Bit of luck for Eskenazi. You can see jumped out wide of the crease, sort of Mark Wood-esque, wasn't it? And then angled it in, deceived Eskenazi, who just went through with the shot. Got a thick edge, no chance for the keeper.
That was a real leap out to the side, wasn't it? That was very much changing the angle. Eskenazi, I think, realised where it was going, and so decided he was just going to take a great big cut at that one. And it was not a million miles away from Cook behind the stumps.
Again wide. This one's hammered though by Eskenazi. What a shot that is.
That is so clean and so hard.
What a shot that is.
Cover dives, but in essence, it was already past him in a great sense of it, really. Carlson, do you know what? In club cricket, you'd be accused of diving, so you didn't have to go and fetch that one or chase it. I mean, that's almost the extent of it. It was almost past him anyway. That's a cracking shot. Eskenazi now has 34. Cracknell only has 8, but he's not really seen as much of the bowling, has he? And when he has, you might as well just keep feeding Eskenazi.
That's my ride home. Just getting themselves ready. Take me back to northwest London. I don't really like dealing with traffic and cars and stuff like that, so I usually get a chopper back. Dan Doothwaite into the attack.
The railway's not working today, so he might as well.
Through his legs, that did. Went for the old French cut, or the draw.
There was a little brush on the pad on the way through, as there was half an appeal.
So Doothwaite, like Whale, you'd say, probably more of a bowling all-rounder. Well done to Sodia. Got round quickly there, dived. Yeah, he's had a decent season, as I mentioned earlier. Doothwaite in first-class cricket. He's picked up 14 wickets in the county championship at 29. And he's the leading wicket taker for Glamorgan in this competition this year. 8 wickets at 19, economy rate 8. Bangs that one in, and that's flown off the bat of Eskenazi. It's that front foot pull again, got this one behind square. He is racing away at the moment.
If you're watching this stream in the ground, please take care if you're behind the advertising hoarding, because that has got very close to doing a lot of damage. That went out there in a hurry. That is so well hit. Well fielded, sir, by the way.
38 off 17 balls, Stevie Eskenazi. This one he scythes through the offside, but again there's that man, a very wide third man, well positioned for someone like Eskenazi, who is absolutely on fire at the moment. First T20 100 against Essex, 102 not out of 61 balls, 64 against Surrey a couple of days ago, and he's already raced away to 39 today. Pulled by Cracknell, and pulled well. Very similar area to the one that Stevie Eskenazi has just hit. And again, that is a strength of Joe Cracknell.
And that is the same spot that previous ball flew through. So the people there do definitely need to keep a watch out. Well, we said earlier, You need a solid start for chasing down scores like 170. 55 without loss, 116 are needed. The one slight concern is there are a couple of rain spots in the air that we can hear on the roof of the tent.
I think he's nicked that. He has. First wicket for Glamorgan. Big celebration from Doothwaite. He was the man with the bat to get Glamorgan back into this game, and he struck first with the ball.
It's just a big swing, isn't it? From Cracknell. And unfortunately for him, it's a regulation catch for Cook behind the stumps. And he walks off. So the question is, who is the new man? And there is the answer. Gubbins is striding to the middle. So 55 for one. 116 still needed. Cracknell made 13. And it's 55 for one.
The rain's just getting a little bit heavier, but we have a game already. 5 overs bowled. Middlesex well ahead of things as far as Duckworth-Lewis stands at the moment. Duckworth-Lewis par score is 36. Middlesex on 55. Obviously a wicket would change that. Cracked again by Eskenazi. He's having a day out, isn't he? He's a man you want in your side at the moment. He really is seeing that ball like an absolute beach ball or a watermelon, as you said earlier.
Well, I don't want to do the Middlesex communications team's job for them, but I've got a funny feeling if you tune into the social media channels later, you're going to be hearing an interview with Stevie Eskenazi, because I think he might be put up for interview at the end of this game the way he's playing.
You've jinxed it, Macca. Come on.
He's getting stuck up regardless now.
Is he going to get another 50? Man's right on the edge of the circle, so that's an easy one. Just 6 away from a half century. Eskenazi got 100 2 games ago, 64, and now possibly going to get another half century. And it's been a real turnaround for him, really. It's been a tough season. He's dropped from the county championship side early on in the season, having been captain in the first game. That can't have been easy to have taken for the senior man. Gubbins' first ball. Straight into his work with a classical looking cover drive for none.
Well, of course, sometimes if you're out of form, T20 is the perfect game, because sometimes the subtlety and the nicety goes out the equation, and it's actually about putting bat to ball. And to put bat to ball, you've got to get your head going at it. You've got to get your front foot following. So actually, it's seen as a bit of a thrash and all of that. But actually, I've heard Mike Atherton talk about it, that if players are out of form, T20 can get you back into it because you have to play shots. The bat has to go at the ball. And it could work it out. And this may be the launch pad.
Gubbins is away. Hasn't done much this season. Hasn't played much, really. That's been the issue. Didn't bat against Essex. Got a duck against Surrey in his previous 2 games. More of a bowler nowadays, isn't he? 1 for 22 against Surrey. Can't believe I'm still talking about Nick Gubbins' bowling. Everything hitting the middle of Stevie Eskenazi's bat at the moment. That time straight to the mid-off.
He's got 44 out of 61. He's just playing so well.
Well, the role's pretty clear for the others now, isn't it? Just get him on strike, which they've done pretty well so far. He's faced the lion's share of deliveries. Moves across. Has he got something on that? I think that's hit his body. Big appeal from Glamorgan, but I think they knew, by the reaction you can tell, they knew that was off his hip perhaps.
That's one of those, you've got to go up, you've heard something, and it's the man who's been playing you to all parts, but I didn't sense there was a confident appeal in any way, shape or form. 61 then, after the power play. Glamorgan 39 for 3 at this stage, but of course they ended up 5 down for 54 and 6 down for 76 and still ended up posting 170, so let's not get too concerned about scores at this stage.
Banged in. Oh, that's well played actually by Gubbins. A bit of an edge to it. They're going to come back for 2. Well run 2. Bit of an edge to it, but he did open the face there.
Absolutely, just use the pace, guide it down. So it's a longish boundary as well, straight, so take the 2. Comfortable single to the cover sweeper.
Again, that has raced away square of the wicket. I'd love to see Stevie Eskenazi's wagon wheel today, because he is peppering that offside, particularly square of the wicket.
Just gave himself a little bit of room and was able to absolutely flay that. As we keep saying, that is the shorter side of the ground, and Billy Root, well, he wouldn't have had a prayer of stopping that one. He gave it a go, but did not get close. 48 not out.
Same again. This time he finds Root on the boundary. So now just one short of another half century. Just 24 balls it's taken Eskenazi to get to that 49. And he's got Middlesex ahead of the game here. Can now knock it around, not under as much pressure as they were.
And it gives Gubbins the opportunity to just have a couple to get himself going, as we were saying earlier. That's what Doothwaite and Wales did so well at the start of their innings. Means that Gubbins can just have a look at a couple. Well, for a second they were thinking, oh my goodness, we've got a problem here, but actually that ends up being quite a comfortable single that finishes the over. 70 for 1 after 7, 101 needed for a Middlesex win.
Just to remind you of where these two sides stand in the table, Glamorgan languishing down in 7th. They've got 6 points from 8 games. Middlesex rock bottom. They've played a game less, but they've won only 1 and lost 6, so they have 2 points. Generally, 15 points gets you into the quarterfinals over the last few years. So by that rationale, Middlesex have to win at least 6 of the last 7 to have any chance of going through, as Roman Walker has his first bowl. Short. And Gubbins plays the pull shot well too. He'll just pick up 1 on this occasion. Roman Walker, just 20 years old, one of the players who was brought in with the likes of Nisa, Labuschagne and
Nick Selman was the other one, wasn't he? In fact, he was the one who returned the positive test.
So those three out. Walker's in. Played 3 T20s in 2019. Hasn't played one since. Not played a first-class game. Big moment for him. Ex-England under-19. Played alongside Prem Sisodia. And making his bow in the tournament this year.
Well, he stopped Eskenazi reaching 50 with that one at least. Looks like he's trying to bowl just back of a length, a heavy ball.
Short again. This time it will be Eskenazi's half century. He picks up 2. Moves on to 51. That is a very good knock from him. 27 balls it's taken him. He really is the man in form for Middlesex, and they'll be hoping he can lead them home today in a crucial match.
Barely a bat of the eyes. Did you notice that there? Barely a reaction from him. He knows there's work to do, even though it is another 50 in a row. And the way he's playing at the moment, a run out might be your best chance of getting him.
Well, last year was a fantastic year for him. He was the second leading run scorer in the whole T20 blast. 413 runs at 31, strike rate 148. Continued in that vein this year. And that is trademark Eskenazi, isn't it? Giving yourself room and hitting through the offside. But then, equally, if you try and follow him and bowl too straight, he just swats you away to the leg side off the front foot.
Well, if my maths are right, that's now taken him to 288 runs in this year's competition. He started the day on 236. And it means he's quite substantially clear of the rest of the Middlesex players.
Pace off. Gubbins just dabs down to third man, as he's done a couple of times in his short innings so far, to move on to 7. Score moves on to 75 for 1 off 8.
Just 5 off of that. So a relatively quiet over. But we're just going to have to keep on talking about Eskenazi, aren't we? Because it looks like he is going to be the man that this innings will be built around. And without trying to over-egg the pudding, potentially Middlesex's Vitality Blast campaign built around, because they have to win this game. No pressure, Stevie, but the rest of the season is dependent on the next 45 minutes or so.
Hopefully he can't hear us.
It is a concern when you're outdoors. It's a relatively small ground that you don't want to be too loud.
Here's David Lloyd into the attack. Medium pacer. He's having a good season in the county championship, that is. Not just a good season, you'd say excellent all-round season, really. He's the second leading run scorer for Glamorgan, 539 runs at 38. And his bowling's been a revelation. 18 wickets at 20. Genuine all-round figures, those.
And the blast as well, an economy rate of 6. So only going for a run a ball. 1 wicket.
Well, that's going to be a boundary. Not a good delivery, that, from Lloyd, you'd have to say. Bit of a freebie for Eskenazi. In the mood that he's in, he is not going to turn that down.
Yeah, your economy rate is going to start going northwards quickly if you find in the middle of the pitch down the leg side. And Eskenazi just simply helps that on its way and says thank you very much, all donations gratefully received.
Well, he's only bowled 3 overs in the competition this year, Lloyd. Keeper up to the stumps. think he's just going to want to try and cramp the batsman, try and not give any width. The problem with bowling to Eskenazi is he creates his own width by backing away. Leaves you very little margin for error as a bowler. That's well bowled. Just targeting the pads.
And of course, with Cook up, you've got to get it right, unless it's a predetermined thing, because any brush of a pad, fine leg inside the circle as well, that's disappearing off to the boundary for 4.
So the cover on the offside is the man dead on square, big point, and a genuine third man. And then we've got 3 men out on the leg side, long on, deep mid-wicket, deep backward square leg. So there is still plenty of room on offer on the offside for Eskenazi if he can just beat the man on the boundary. Doesn't get it through the ring there. So barring that shocking delivery down the leg side, that was a pretty decent over from David Lloyd, his first one.
Yeah, just the 6 off it. 9 overs completed, 81 for 1. So Middlesex up, getting close to the halfway stage. 81 on the board, 90 still needed. To give you an idea, the DLS par score at the moment is on 64. So according to DLS, and they've just updated it for the end of this over, 65. So Middlesex ahead of where they needed to be. I think they might actually be doing DLS after each ball. So yes, that would be after.
Well, we had a bit of an issue, didn't we, at the last game here, the Gloucestershire game, where we thought that the game was going to be a tie because we were told that the scoreboard was updating every ball in terms of the Duckworth-Lewis pass score, but it wasn't in the end.
So it's 66 now after the next delivery, which, with that, Middlesex are comfortably past.
Yeah, we don't want another Duckworth-Lewis situation. We got so close to finishing that brilliant game against Gloucestershire, just had to stop because of the rain with 2 overs left in the match. Gloucestershire top edging a 6 courtesy of Ian Cobain with what proved to be the last ball of the match to win the game by 2 runs. Ouch. That's gone right into the side of Stevie Eskenazi. Nice bit of bowling from Roman Walker. Pace off into the pitch. He's looked pretty good actually. Into his second over. Young man playing his first game this season. First game since 2019. He's only played 3 in all. Started well.
He has indeed. Nothing else. Just to get one past Eskenazi's bat, he's done something well, because that's something that not many others have done.
Moves across Gubbins. He gloves that one up into the air for a single.
Yeah, he was trying to just help it around the corner, was it? It was sort of a slower ball that looped up a bit and just wasn't able to get the speed of the bat and the speed of the ball in sync. And it just sort of bobbled around for a single.
Not pitched up too many, Roman Walker. Good spell so far, bowling into the pitch. But Eskenazi says, I'm going to have to create something here. Moves across his stumps. Bit of funkiness. Almost a perfectly executed ramp.
He's gone so far across. I don't think this is that far away from leg stump, you know, where he's at when he flicks it. It's an incredible shot. A man full of confidence. He's got a decent view, hasn't he?
Looks a bit bored, doesn't he? Come on, Simon. Got a game on here, mate. Get your game face on.
Maybe it was his car that it hit earlier and he's contemplating the broken window.
He did look like he was ruining something there, didn't he?
Maybe someone should just go and take the mains out of the compressor for the cherry picker he's on and just slowly disappear behind the sight screen at the far end. So the second half of the innings then. 89 for 1. Gubbins aimed something big at the first one. I do like Cook standing up though. Just changes the dynamic, doesn't it? Well, he's asked the question.
I tell you what, he went up for a stumping there, which was a bit odd when the batsman's playing a back foot cut shot. Don't see that too often. It almost felt like the bowler went up for the caught behind and the keeper was going up for the stumping.
Lloyd drops that one a little bit short. That's hammered into the onside. It's got out there in a real hurry to Whale.
They thought about two there. I wonder if they could have pushed there. Whale fumbled. It was a good arm, but not straight over the stumps. Might have been able to sneak a second.
Eskenazi to resume duties. Slower ball. Says thank you very much. I'll take the single.
It's a good period this actually for Glamorgan. The last few balls. Roman Walker's 2 overs have just gone for 12. Lloyd started well in this over. Bowled a good first over too. Just reining Middlesex back in a little bit.
Threatens to go.
What the hell was that? It was extraordinary cricket, wasn't it? Gubbins went across to the offside. He wanted a scoop. Good bit of bowling actually by Lloyd. He saw him, so he tossed up a slow ball outside off stump, and then it almost looked like Gubbins was sort of getting the frying pan out, tossing the frying pan and trying to get him through the offside.
It's like he was line dancing.
You've done a bit of that, have you?
No, I hasten to add no. That's a bit more like it. Stick with what you know. Back foot punch. Just make sure that everyone's honest and in their ground. Just going back to the stumping, very interesting. Sky repeated the masterclass that they did with Jack Russell on wicket keeping during the week, and as a former bang average club wicketkeeper, I have to watch it every time I see it. But it was very interesting when he was talking about stumpings and taking the bails off, because during it, Ian Ward showed a couple of clips and said, "Oh, you brilliantly waited for this batsman just to lift his foot there," and he said, "I'm going to have to be entirely honest with you. I didn't do that ever." He said, "It's just really a habit. Some days you just get a feeling of taking them off, and people say, 'Oh, you did really well. You waited. He overbalanced.'" He said, "I'm afraid that's not actually the case."
Well, it's instinct, isn't it? They just know when someone is overbalancing and you just flick the glove out, don't you? The top keepers.
It was an amazing watch. There was half an hour of TV that was just brilliant. It was like watching Beethoven talk about music, or it's just like an artist at work. Well, of course, it is an artist at work with Jack Russell.
He is, isn't he? Very good artist. He's painted a lot of cricket scenes over the years. Interesting character as well, isn't he? Slightly eccentric, we would say.
Slightly. I was once told a story. Someone went to interview him, but he didn't like giving his address out. So he arranged to meet someone about 10 minutes from home and then drove them, but they had to have a blindfold on. I don't know if that's true or not. Oh, that's coming our way. Watch out, everyone.
I was ready. I had my left hand out there. Unfortunately, it just came before us. Whacked into those advertising hoardings. That's the closest we've come to having a catch. What a shot, by the way, from Stevie Eskenazi. Timed the pants off that one. 6 over mid-off.
That has hit the tin advertising hoarding so hard. I'd be amazed if that's not done some damage to the ball. 99 on the board for Middlesex. Make that 100.
Whoa, hang on a minute.
Hang on.
What's going on there?
Oh, there's a discussion. Is it a no ball or a wide? Has it bounced more than once before it's got down there?
I don't think it did.
I think that's what they're trying to clarify.
What's he going to give here then? Right, okay. Well, it certainly was wide. I think you're right, maybe, about the number of times it bounced there.
That's a bit more conventional. And it would be just work to long leg for a single. So 101 for one. $70 now to Eskenazi. 70 more needed for victory. Under edge on that one from Gubbins, aiming something big into the leg side. But it's just a single.
He's not quite got going yet, Gubbins. 14 off 19. But doesn't really matter that much when you've got a guy at the other end who's smoking it to all parts. 70 off 39 is Eskenazi. Bizarre.
He's ramped it back towards the bobbler.
That was interesting cricket, I would say. Maybe not the best cricket we've seen all day. I mean, had he stayed where he was, Eskenazi, that would have been another wide from Walker. He tried to scoop a delivery that was probably about 40 miles an hour. Never the easiest thing to do. Might have been just better off trying to go with the conventional cow corner whack.
That's the problem. You have to commit so early to it and predetermine that you can't bail out. That one, he stayed at home, and although it's full and wide again, you can square drive that and take a single to complete the over. But yeah, the ramp is a great shot, but it is so utterly predetermined. You can get yourself in a right angle if it's not there to be hit.
And you need pace, don't you? So that's the counter, isn't it, for any bowler that sees you getting in position for the ramp. Immediately take the pace off, and it makes the shot far more difficult to play. Interestingly, Walker in that over went to a lot of slower balls. I think that was the reaction to the 6 of Eskenazi over long off, and then that just upset the bowler's rhythm, who started brilliantly with the 2 overs for 12. Just didn't quite get his changes of pace right in that over.
Lloyd to continue, and Eskenazi drives him square, but can't beat Taylor at point. Well, that's a real slow one. That's a bit like Jeremy Snape's moon ball back in the day when he was playing at Leicestershire.
I think we had a chance of a run out there as well, Macca. Had that been picked up cleanly by Colin Ingram at cover, fumbled it in the end. I think he would have had a chance to run out both batsmen there. It was just hit straight to him.
Oh, he's got that one. And then some.
Welcome to the game, Nick Gubbins. He's just been hanging on in there, hasn't he? Giving the strike to Eskenazi. He's finally hit one right out of the middle of the bat. Went across his stumps, targeted that short boundary, and that could well be another lost ball.
He's just waited and waited, and at that point decided, okay, now's the time for me to join the party. Yeah, the umpires have had the word that that ball's not coming back.
How many balls have we changed, do you reckon, today?
It's got to be half a dozen, hasn't it? I hope the ball sponsors got deep pockets.
Yeah, it's a bit of an odd sight to just see the umpire, the standing umpire, continually running off the ground. I think maybe that's a job for one of the other officials that's not standing that could run on the ball, but he's getting his steps in anyway.
I do like the way that Nick Cook is letting Tom Lungley do all the toing and froing, by the way. So the senior umpire is staying absolutely put and saying to Tom Lungley, go on then, you can do that.
Too right. Pull rank if you're the senior umpire. Get the young man to do the work.
David Lloyd thought for a minute that slightly, I think it's a cutter, was just going to hold in the pitch and lob up on the onside from Goins' bat. And he hit it too well and he goes out for a single. Down to 60 needed. 111 for one. Oh, that's another great shot. Extra cover can try and dive all he likes, Colin Ingram. But they're going exploring for another one.
It's a masterclass in offside play so far from Eskenazi. He's been really impressive. And you get the feeling it's a masterclass in offside play so far from Eskenazi. Game unless they get him out. He's in that good a form. Really impressive.
Here he comes. Chugging on down to the box of balls. We've spent so much time looking at hedges today. People think they're watching a David Attenborough documentary. It's not. It's Middlesex cricket.
Yeah, we take you all over the place, don't we? Here at Middlesex cricket. Beautiful outgrounds, lots of scenery. Such a contrast from the home of cricket. Big traditional stadium. This feels like the kind of ground you play at on a Saturday with your club, which it is. It's a well-known club in the area, Radlett Cricket Club here in Hertfordshire. I think they play in the Home Counties League, actually, which is a really strong league.
Eskenazi's pulling this one to the leg side, and it's another four. Carlson can't prevent that one crossing the line. And go on, I'm going to go there. Three figures is getting ever closer for Stevie Eskenazi. He's 20 away from another one.
Yeah, could you imagine? You wait all that time for your first T20 100, which he scored against Essex at Lords. And then, like London buses, second one comes along 2 games later. He's got the time, that's for sure. Sisodia back on. Expensive first 2 overs for 20.
To the left-handed Govins then. Whipped. They're saying, let's go 2. And have they got there? Yes is the answer, but maybe not with as much to spare as they originally thought.
Touch and go, wasn't it, really? Required a despairing dive from Gubbins. Had he not dived, I don't think he would have made it. I had to show real athleticism there. That would have been a bit of a blow for Middlesex out of the blue, really, because these two have looked so solid at the moment, just cantering towards victory. That would have given Glamorgan some hope. Unnecessarily so from a Middlesex point of view.
Sasodia as Gubbins backs away and hammers this one hard to Walker at long off. And that would be the real kicker, wouldn't it? In the fact that you're in relatively little trouble, to take a 50-50 second and get yourself run out, that's going to take some explaining later. But they're not, so that conversation doesn't need to take place. Does well to open the face on that one, and a ball that in the air looks like it might be coming down towards long off actually gets square driven to cover for a single.
Middlesex have been in similar situations so far this season when they've been well ahead of the game and not got over the line. I wonder if those mental scars are still there.
Well, that's straight to the fielder at square leg, and Matt Floyd's taught one out. Gubbins is not going to enjoy that one. That was set up, really. Left arm around, little bit of air, and had the man on the boundary. And Gubbins has pretty much picked him out. 2 steps off the rope, catch taken, and it's 123 for 2, with Gubbins going for 24. 48 needed to win this game. Middlesex are still in the box seat. Let's make no mistake about that. But
good partnership between the two of them. They've done the lion's share of the job, but will it be squeaky bum time for Middlesex now as Daryl Mitchell strides to the crease? He's made quite an impact so far, not just with the bat but with the ball as well. Played really well against Surrey. 58 off 36 balls. He looked classy in that innings. Played the spinners really well. A couple of gorgeous sixes coming down the track over long on, and he's facing spin first up again. Could do with just showing his experience here, ticking the score along, making sure Middlesex don't lose 2 in succession.
1 brings 2, can't happen from a Middlesex point of view. Sasodia is in and just clipped along on. So Ingram taking the catch. 24 from 24 balls for Gubbins.
Not his most fluent innings, but he did a job for the side, I'd say, with Eskenazi going so well.
Absolutely. As he drives that one to the square cover fielder for a single. Look, it's all there, isn't it? That's everything from a Middlesex point of view. A game is there for the winning. Daryl Mitchell has been part of a New Zealand side that have just won the World Test Championship. He's going to be full of confidence. At the other end is a man who's seeing it quite beautifully, hitting it quite beautifully. They, I'm sure, are talking about them seeing this through to the end.
46 off 6 overs, so just under 8 an over required. 8 wickets in hand. You would say that 98 times out of 100 you win from it as the batting side. But stranger things have happened, and both in 4-day cricket and in T20 cricket this year, Middlesex have found themselves well ahead of the game and still come up short.
The worst case scenario here is Eskenazi gets out and therefore you've got 2 new men at the crease, isn't it? That's what has to be avoided almost at all costs. Right, Cook's run all the way up to have a chat with Tim van der Houten. And they've come up with a plan. And the plan is that fine leg's going back onto the boundary. So fine leg, square leg, long on the leg side. One man inside the circle. On the leg side is mid-wicket. Van der Gooten goes wide. A bit of a yes-no. This is exactly what we're just talking about. Clear heads. Don't get concerned. Don't do anything silly. Don't give it away now.
These two had a really good partnership against Surrey, so they've got fond memories of batting together. Also spent a bit of time together at the crease in the first game against Essex, so they've built up a good rapport.
Oh my life.
That is a high quality shot. Pitched up just outside off stump. Harold Mitchell, nothing fancy, just stayed very still. Hit through the line of the ball cleanly, straight over long off. Arguably the shot of the day so far.
Batting is about balance. Mitchell has barely moved a muscle there in terms of his feet. He's stayed with a strong base, and it's just a long swing at the bat. And it's just disappeared over long. That might still be going down the hill.
Still in Salters Field, I think. No, there it is. Back in the hands of Tim van der Gooten. But statement has been made by Mitchell with that shot. That's where the space is. If you can go up and over mid-off.
He's tried it again. This time, though, it's gone leg side and goes away for 4. I'm not so sure that was as clean or indeed the angle he was actually aiming at.
Thick inside edge on that occasion. And as soon as he hit it, there was a big cry of catch that went up from 2 or 3 Glamorgan fielders, because they thought that James Whale, just behind square on the leg side, was in business. But luckily for Mitchell, he just got enough on that. Landed about 20 yards in front of square, away from Whale.
35 to win becomes 34. Will they try and make it 33? No, wisely. Just take the single, Mitchell. Well, they'll be feeling pretty good about things at the moment, won't they?
I don't know, they look a bit nervous. Such a big game for Middlesex, understandably so. Blake Cullen in your picture there, not playing today. Gubbins, Luke Holman, Simpson, Souter. And Max Holden, who's the extra batsman in the side today.
Eskenazi gives himself some room to the cover sweeper for a single. And the end of the over. So that is 14 overs gone. And 138 for 2 is the situation for Middlesex. So 33 needed. So 30 balls to get 33. In a T20 game, that's like falling off a log territory.
This would be an almighty comeback from Glamorgan to win from here. The key thing for Middlesex is they've kept wickets in hand.
There's some loop there.
That was that moon ball you mentioned earlier. That was a real Jeremy Snape.
That really was throwing bait in the water, wasn't it? That was going fishing. Do you want to take the bait on this one? Long on and long off out. Can you moose it over mid-wicket? Well fielded by Ingram there. Bit in Tin Can Alley there at times. With the man on the drive. Gets you in a real hurry. That's the spot Owen Morgan stations himself more often than not, isn't it? Very important spot. And he gave it the full goalkeeper treatment there. And for a moment, he thought he was in business, but it rattles away for another 4. And Eskenazi is 88 not out. 138 for 2.
Good shot that. Close to the man, but he went up and over on purpose. His timing has just been spot on all day.
Maybe not so quite well timed, that one, but it's very hard to time a ball that's that wide of off stump. Single taken. 29 needed for victory. 28, my apologies. That one's pulled down. Trying to bowl it into the pitch. And that's a single down to square leg and root.
Good over from Sisodia, that. Just the 6 runs coming off it. But that's pretty much all Middlesex need to go at the moment to get over the line. From Sisodia, that's just the 6 runs coming off it. Glamorgan. It's the only way. Pretty much all Middlesex need to go at the moment to get over the line. From Sisodia, that's just the 6 runs coming off it. Glamorgan. It's the only way. Pretty much all Middlesex need to go at the moment to get over the line. From Sisodia, that's just the 6 runs coming off it. Glamorgan. It's the only way. Pretty much all Middlesex need to go at the moment to get over the line. From Sisodia, that's just the 6 runs coming off it. Glamorgan. The only way. Pretty much all Middlesex need to go at the moment to get over the line. From Sisodia, that's just the 6 runs coming off it. Glamorgan. The only way. Pretty much all Middlesex need to go at the moment to get over the line. From Sisodia, that's just the 6 runs coming off it.
Stand and deliver 6. That was a flat, hard, straight 6 from Daryl Mitchell. Stand and deliver 6. Good form at the moment. That was a flat, hard, straight 6 from Daryl Mitchell. Down the ground. Stand and on the eye. Score is 6. Good form. Take down the Surrey Smith couple of days. Hard, straight 6. Seamers are down the ground. Stand and on the eye. Score is 6. Take down the Surrey Smith couple of days. Hard, straight 6. Get back down the ground. Stand and on the eye. Score is 6. Take down the Surrey Smith couple of days. Hard, straight 6. Get back down the ground. Stand and on the eye. Score is 6. He's gone short. That's been hammered, and I mean hammered through mid-wicket before. Well, he went for the variation, and that's been nearly got clobbered, and I mean hammered through mid-wicket.
Almost there now, Middlesex.
Well, he went for the variation.
Runs away. This could be the over that really tips it over the edge.
And I mean
Daryl Mitchell looks to know almost there now. Middlesex.
Well, he went for the variation.
Runs away. 3 already. Could be the over that really tips it over the edge. Well, Mitchell looks to know almost there now. Middlesex. Runs away. 3 already. Could be the over that really denying his teammate 100. Well, 11 from the remaining 17.
And that's going to take a few more off the target. That's still going.
His teammate 100.
back of the hands. Where's that going? Just going to lob down long on for a single by Mitchell, and that is the final ball of the goes. He's going to keep the stride. 100 in T20 is rare. 200s in 3 innings. That's back of the hands. That's unicorn territory. 100 in T20. It is. 200s in 3 innings. That is professional. Just think about unicorn under. Darryl Mitchell's thinking about that in that over protecting Wales. Tucked in. Professional. That second over when that really has broken the spirit. Pretty much ended this game. Tucked in as a contest. He's still got a chance here though. Pretty much ended this game. His delivery or as a contest which faces in this over. He's still got a chance here though. Pretty much ended this game. It's a single here. Contest which faces goes 4-6. Job's done. Still got a chance here though. Pretty much ended this game. All the bowls the single here. Is that 4-6? Job's done. Yorkers, full straight, dot balls. There we go. The dream is still alive. Five Yorkers, full straight, dot. Can he get to 3 figures? 2 in 3 innings. The dream is still alive. Got his first 100 in the final over. Can he get to 3 figures? Had to work really hard for it. This one still alive. Got his first 100 in the final over. Actually, can he get to 3 figures? Pretty similar. Really hard for 90 or 55. This one still alive. Got his first 100 in the final over. Allowed on 61. Can he get to 3 push that into the off. Oh, he's taking the single. He's taking the single to England. Well, I think that tells us that the 100 isn't irrelevant because with 7 needed before that ball, into the off. Oh, he's 10 needed for the 100. He's actually 10 to 6 to 4. Well, I think that tells us. So I think that the 100 isn't irrelevant to rate because with 7 needed before that ball, into the off. One game out of 7. Just got to think about getting the 2 points. So I think that the 100 is going to be rate because with 7 needed before that ball, into the off. One game out of 7. That's just getting the 2 points. Take a little bit of gloss off it. Mitchell is out. He's clipped it straight to mid wickets. It was brief. 32 he goes for. Mitchell is out. He's clipped it straight to mid wicket. Have material impact on the game. Brief. 32 he goes for. He's gone for the short side. Trying to put it away. Straight to mid wicket. Have material impact on the game. Brief. What a cameo though from Darryl Mitchell. He's gone to the short side. 30 balls. Really was a joy to watch. What a cameo though from Darryl Mitchell. Big difference already on this Middlesex side, particularly with the bat. Really was a joy to watch. A bit of impetus into that middle order. Big difference already on this slightly side, particularly with the bat. Fortunately, dropping there to see the side home. But he took 3 wickets too. 3 for 37. So man of the match. Really an interesting decision from the side home. He took 3 wickets too. 2 front runners. 3 for 37. So man of the match. Eskenazi. Interesting decision. Sorry, if you can get this close to 100. 3 wickets too. 2 front runners. 3 for 37. So man of the match. So it's 6 to win. Sorry, if you can get this close to 100. 3 wickets too. 2 front runners. 3 for 37. John Simpson is the. So it's 6 to win, man. Sorry, if you can get this close to 100. Wait, just John Simpson is the just conversation about where everyone is, and long off is going to come up to mid off. John Simpson is the just conversation on where everyone is, and long off is going to come up to mid off. Exactly where it will be, but just conversation all the way around the wicket. And that's been flipped up and over the leg side. Thank you very much. 6 of the best all over Red Rover.
That is how you win a cricket match, John Simpson.
Up and over
Bit
the
of a
leg side.
Rishabh punt
Thank you
about
very
that.
much.
Did
Six
not
for the
move his
best,
feet
all
at
over
all,
red
just
rope.
picked it up over on the long side of the boundary, and that ball thudded into the boundary line over there. That sums up a very comprehensive batting display by Middlesex, and a comprehensive display all round. They bowled well in truth, despite some fantastic partnerships with Wales. Middlesex, who unfortunately was under par on that pitch, and that was a really clinical display of the bat. Not over the line. Plenty of time to spare here. Was under par on that pitch, and that was a really clinical display of the bat. Spare over the line. It really was excellent stuff. Spare here for the Eskenazi, leading the way once again. 91 not out. 6 balls. Really was excellent stuff. Back up. Half century against Surrey in the previous game, and his first T20 100 2 games ago against Essex. Back up is the first signs of a miraculous Middlesex revival. They had to win this game back, and they have done so. Just the manner in which they've done so, which just lit the address. Miraculous Middlesex revival.
All started with the ball. And let's remember, Glamorgan did win the toss and choose to bat. They wanted to bat first. They found themselves 54 for 5 and 76 for 6. But did recover thanks to Duke Waite and Wales for 170 for 8. So Middlesex had to chase it, maybe slightly more than they would have been anticipating. But we say it all the time. It's all about the opening standing. Middlesex had to chase it, maybe slightly more. Can you get up than anticipating? That gives you such impetus all the way through. Say it all the time. It's all about the opening standing. Middlesex had to chase it, maybe slightly more. Cannot ask any more. That gives you such impetus all the way. One-man wrecking ball at the moment, isn't he? As far as Middlesex is concerned, he is absolutely doing the job. I know Glamorgan have had difficulties today. They've had those situations with Nick Selman and his positive COVID test. That ruled out Marnus Labuschagne and Michael Leaser as well because of the potentially close contact situation with Nick Selman. But I have to say, Middlesex have done so well today. Kind of took that out of the equation because of the potentially close contact.
Yeah, they did, absolutely.
But I have to say, Middlesex have classed so well today.
tomorrow night, by the way. Let's have a country as well for 5 days. Us to the next game. They can travel into the game tomorrow night, by the way.
And in many respects, that's the good thing, isn't it? You're almost going straight from this game down to that one, get back on it. I'm sure if they could, they get Hampshire here now and get it on and say, come on, let's make it a double header today, because just when things start to get going, I'm sure worried about that top 5, top 6. Hampshire here now, of course, get it on and say, come on, let's make it a double header today, because just when you're not looking at that top 5, top 6, thinking, I'm sure worried about that top 5, top 6. Hampshire here now, of course, get it on, experience and cracking has had, lots of games in, just to bring the whole top 5, top 6 cricketing experience around the players here. Eskenazi, experience, Wade, logic says he will have to enter something to be around the players here. Eskenazi, to make the most of it, I'm sure Wade, he's playing so logic says so. Giving themselves a chance, haven't they? When we consider where things are at the moment in terms of the table, Hampshire aren't a great deal better off coming into this weekend. They were the side that Middlesex having a sandwich. It's not like they're going to Gloucestershire or Kent or Surrey tomorrow. Now these are, to use the old footballing cliche, you're 6 points and 74 points. Not like they're going to Gloucestershire or Middlesex now. 3 points the same as Hampshire. These are, to use the old footballing win tomorrow, take 2 points, 6 points, put 2 points on you, stop them getting Gloucestershire or Middlesex now. 3 points the same as Hampshire. These are, it's another really win can get on a roll. 2 points, 6 points, put 2 points on cliche. Again, another must win tomorrow night at the Ageas Bowl for Middlesex against Hampshire. Side they've already beaten this year. They've beaten here, of course, cliche. A fantastic run chase of 250. So that game will be a crack as well. Hampshire side they've already beaten. Thoroughly enjoyed it.
Here again. Thanks very much to Crew Clothing as well for our lovely shirts, which I'm going to wear again.
Very excellent enjoyed it. Thank you very much. Very kind.
Right, and thank you all as well for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed that. Middlesex back to winning ways. They had to get there. Thank you very much. Do join us for our next home game on Middlesex. That'll be next Thursdays for us on ways. They had to get there. That one we're back at home. Join us. So a bit of a different atmosphere. Lots of crowding. We'll see you on Thursdays for us on ways. They had to get there. That one we're back at home. Join us. So a bit of a different atmosphere. Lots of crowding. We'll see you on Thursdays for us on ways. They had to get there. That one we're back at home. Join us. So a bit of a different atmosphere. Lots of crowding. We'll see you on Thursdays for us on ways. They had to get there. That one we're back at home. Join us. So a bit of a different atmosphere. Lots of crowding. We'll see you on Thursdays for us on ways.
Jamie Overton in the last over for 20. It almost looks as if it is raining, doesn't it? I mean, it almost looks like a mist now. It's a really thoroughly sort of overcast and dank afternoon here at home. It is raining, doesn't it? I mean, it almost looks like a mist. I think it is. I think it's been drizzling for the last half an hour. I think that's why the ball's just been skipping onto the bat. Over the wicket comes Jameson to Luke Wright and cramps him up for room as Luke Wright's trying to give himself room there to go over the offside. Jameson just getting that one to come back a touch at him. Luke Wright got cramped up for room as Luke Wright's trying to give down into the leg side, and there's no run. Just getting that one to come back a touch at him. Luke Wright cramped up for room back towards the side screen down there in the distance. No look out the window next door, Church. It's fairly perceptible, the drizzle, to be honest. Back towards Jameson once again. Over the wicket he comes to Luke Wright, and Wright, now that he's been hit on the side of the helmet, and that one is nasty because he's looked to hook, and that's taken 2 bits of the helmet off, and straight away Luke Wright gone down on his knees. He's up on his feet again now. Luke Wright's actually doing his shoelaces up at the moment, but that got onto him very quickly again, and it's that protection on the back of the helmet now. It's not bad on. So Luke Wright's going to have to get another helmet. Out comes the physio again, but yeah, he's looking to hook that over short fine leg, and Luke Wright's going to have the guards off the back of his helmet. He's okay, Luke Wright. We're sort of up now chatting with the physio. They're going to have to fix that helmet, and again it's just quickly gone to playing that hook shot. I wonder if light's got anything to do with that. I know the floodlights are on, but it's pretty gloomy still.
So if this was a championship,
No,
we would be on. There's no question about that. I wonder if Phil Salt was hit at this end as well, wasn't it?
Floodlights are on,
on the
but well, that will get the umpires chatting as well now.
If this was a championship,
They're having a little natter because that's two now that have been struck, looking to hook, and even Gareth Batty, I think, just having a bit of a natter there.